Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me today for a video that I'm really excited to get to. This is going to be a showcase of a little mini collection that I have put together featuring one of my favorite players to collect and one of the titans of our hobby here in the 21st century, Mike Trout of the California Angels. So this video is going to be a take on or a showcase on this card here. This is Mike's 2012 Topps base card. Of course, his rookie card came in 2011 Topps Update, number US 175. It's, arguably the most iconic 21st century baseball card. I would say maybe it is. So this is not a rookie, but this 2012 Topps card represents his first inclusion in the base flagship Topps set. Not Update or High Numbers or Heritage, just the basic old school, everyday Topps release. This is his first card. 2012 was also his rookie season, technically. So even though his rookie card came in 2011, of course, and that is in fact his rookie, I'm not disagreeing, he didn't play in a lot of games in 2011, just 40 games. So as far as Major League Baseball is concerned, his rookie season was 2012. So I think this card is really cool for those, those two reasons. I think it's an important card in the hobby for those reasons, because I do think he's, among the most, if not the most, popular 21st century player in the hobby. And so I've worked over the years at assembling just a small collection of different variants of that card. And we're going to take a look at them today. And it's going to culminate in a recent purchase that was definitely a big fish buy for me. It was an expensive card, but came at a small fraction of what I've seen this card go for over the years when I've tried to reach for it and, failed repeatedly and just didn't want to pay what it costs. So we'll get to that at the end. But before we do, let's take a look at a couple more versions of this base card here. So here's another of the more infamous. This is the gold parallel. These have, Topps Gold has existed since the early 90s, and I believe has been serial numbered to the year of release since the early 2000s, maybe the year 2000 even. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my mind, but, continues to this day. They're extremely popular. I love these as well. And so this one, obviously being from 2012, is serial numbered to 2012 on the back. You can see it up top here, copy 215 of 2012. So that is, probably in my mind, the most, the longest running parallel with the best lineage of any of the Topps parallels that are out these days. So it's highly collected and highly sought after for that reason. And they're also very condition sensitive. So that's one where I just have that PSA 8. I would love to someday upgrade that to a 9. I don't know if that has a realistic chance of happening or not, but for now I love that 8. I certainly would not scoff at that gold in any grade. And then this next one is the other card aside from the big whopper at the end that I finally got recently. And I've tried to buy this card probably a dozen times over the years, just kept losing out. I didn't want to pay 3 figures for this or hundreds of dollars, and I finally got one at a real bargain that was closer to the $75 price point in a PSA 9. And this was a one and done parallel for Topps. Don't think they did this any years after this, but this is the Gold Sparkle parallel. So this is again from just flagship Topps, but it's the Gold Sparkle, not numbered. I don't think especially rare or anything like that, but is also quite condition sensitive with those crazy shiny borders. Just a really, really cool card. I love the effect on that one. And man, exercise and patience here. Like I've, as I mentioned, been so close to pulling the trigger on this exact card just over and over again. And then finally, patience paid off and brought that one home for much less money than what it cost me if I just got impatient and, smashed by it now a year or two ago. So I'm happy to have that one here to kind of complete the trio of cards that I wanted as far as the base card goes. But then, the rest of this collection is going to get into this card here, which I think is even cooler and, potentially as far as the hobby goes, even more important than the base card. So this is the Topps Chrome 2012 Mike Trout. Obviously, same image, really not all that different other than chromium cardstock, but, unlike the rookie card existing in 2011 Topps Update, there is no 2011 Topps Chrome Mike Trout. There's not a Chrome version like this of the 2011 rookie card. So this represents Mike Trout's first Topps Chrome card. And, that might not be like super important. And I know some people would probably snicker at that, but I think, whether you like it or not, or whether you enjoy these or not, these types of chromium and shiny cards are here to stay in the hobby. They're, probably the type of card that modern collectors enjoy chasing the most of their players that they're fans of and that they're watching now. I don't think they're going anywhere. Topps Chrome has been around since the mid-90s now. So we're coming up on 30 years of existence of this brand. And when you look at, or when you consider that this is his first Topps Chrome card, I just think it's a really important card. And I know things have cooled down now, and I'm not an investor. I'm not in this for money. But when you look at what first Topps Chrome cards of guys like, LeBron James or, Tom Brady or Peyton Manning go for, I feel like this card, probably should be valued a little bit higher than it traditionally has been in the marketplace. So I'm a big believer in the 2012 Topps Chrome Mike Trout, just because of, more than anything else, like just its importance in the hobby. This is the guy who is the hobby darling. It is his first Topps Chrome card, and it's a brand that is, wildly popular, and I think will continue to be successful for the foreseeable future. So with that being said, I've got a couple versions of this card to get into now, and the first one is, obvious. And again, this is one that goes all the way back to those initial releases in the mid-90s, just the basic refractor. This is just, and the lighting's a little bit rough in here, just getting a lot of glare here from natural backlight, but you get the idea. This is just the refractor. It's not numbered. It's just a shinier version of the Chrome base card. And these existed going all the way back to the very first Topps Chrome set, which I think was 1996. You could get a 96 Topps Chrome refractor. And today, here in 2023, coming up in a couple months, or maybe this summer when Chrome comes out, you'll be able to get a 2023 Topps Chrome refractor. So I just like the lineage and kind of like the timelessness of this particular parallel. They're not numbered. They're not, necessarily any rarer than any of the other ones we're going to look at in a moment here. But I think their continuity as a parallel, just like with Topps Gold that we talked about earlier, is one of the reasons that I enjoy these so much. So there's the refractor, and the PSA 9 as well. I've got a couple of colored refractors here. So here is the purple refractor. And I have to be honest, I'm not against critiquing my own cards or Topps' job. I think the colored refractors in 2012, especially the purple, is a little bit underwhelming. When you look at this side by side with maybe a refractor from a couple of years after this, 2014 or even 2013, this one just doesn't have quite the same pop. And the other note on this one, in modern Topps Chrome sets, those of you who are collecting that release or have over maybe the past 8 years or so, you've come to expect that the purple refractors are serial numbered. They certainly are nowadays, but back in 2012, they were not. So this is no different than the standard refractor in terms of neither of them having any sort of serial numbering, but not a super easy card. I did not look up, population reports or anything prior to this video. It's not a difficult card either. I don't mean to say that by any means, but just sort of a middle of the road parallel. To go alongside that purple, kind of complements it nicely, I also have the orange refractor. And this is anecdotal, and again, I didn't look up any statistics prior to the video, which I should have, but just in my experience, I find this orange one much tougher to come across compared to the purple. And maybe that's just luck or random chance, but the orange one, to me anyway, seems to be at least a little more scarce. Again, it's not serial numbered, so there's no way to really know for sure how many of these are out there 100%, compared to the purple or anything like that, but pretty neat card there. The orange is not necessarily team color matching or anything like that, and this is really more one that I just got to kind of fill out the run. There aren't a lot of unnumbered, reasonably affordable versions of this, so the orange is, one way to go there if you see one. And then next, I've got the X-Fractor. It's another one that goes back a long time, but it has that checkerboard effect in the background that you've come to know from X-Fractors over the years. Not really a whole lot to say about it. The X-Fractor pattern does actually continue in the background here. The dark background does not go over the players, but the card is so dark. There you go. If I tilt it, you can see it a little bit. that checkerboard pattern. But the background is so dark on this card that you don't really pick it up on the background. You really only pick it up on the border and the nameplate. But and again, this is the last, second to last card I'm going to show. And this is the last of the unnumbered parallels. So there's the X-Fractor. Then we'll finish it off with the big card that I just recently got in. This was a purchase here in the winter of 2022, 2023. Again, as I mentioned, kind of a teased at the outset of the video, this is a card that I've had my eye on for years, but in this grade and just in general, it was always a comma card. And while I love the card and I appreciate it for all the reasons that we've talked about in today's video, it was not a card that I wanted to throw $1,000 or more at. I've only done that a couple or a handful of times in my entire, 15 years in the hobby as an adult. But with everything that's gone on, both with the hobby in general and prices kind of correcting, and then for some reason, Mike Trout's individual prices, I think people may be a little bit scared off by his back injury or him missing a little bit of time the last couple seasons. Although I'll remind you that he just hit, 40 plus home runs last year, which I think was like his third best career total or something like that. But anyway, for all these reasons, Trout is more reasonable now than he's been in a long time. And I just kind of got this gut feeling that now was the time to pick up this card. If I saw one within, a few weeks of me thinking that, go figure, one surfaced in a PSA 9 and at auction. So yeah, I put in a pretty strong bid on this, brought it home for like, way less than even like a third of what these used to go for. Really, really happy. And this is probably as far as I'll ever be able to take this run because anything that's numbered lower than this is just going to be, out of my orbit. But I finally got the blue refractor, 2012 Topps Chrome blue refractor. This is my only serial numbered chrome version of this card. I do have the Topps Gold, which is numbered to year of release, but this blue is numbered out of 199. So this card definitely represents the pinnacle of my 2012 Topps Chrome Mike Trout collection. We looked at, I think, 8 total cards here today, so that's a nice little run. Really happy to have these all together. Still kind of in a state of disbelief that I got, one of the 199 copies only that exist of this 2012 out there. And I think I can finally consider this mini collection complete after all these years. So I really appreciate you stopping by to check out these Mike Trouts. Would love to hear from you in the comments below. And we'll be back, as always, in the very near future with some more sports card content. Till then, take care and enjoy the hobby.